Great. And like I said before, if one of you could jump on and just tell me if you can't hear me at all, that would be amazing. So we're going to start with your scarf or your belt. And for this bit, you can either be kneeling or standing, doesn't matter. So take your strap around the base of your rib cage here, so where the floating ribs are, and just hold on to your strap or your scarf or whatever so that it feels quite tight around the base of the rib cage. You can really feel it a bit snug. I did a video on this the other day just to re-emphasize the diaphragmatic breath and the breath going into the back of our lungs, where we have most of the lung capacity here. And it does seem, from what I've heard, that so I've been talking to a couple of our students who are nurses, and it so helps to be able to breathe fully diaphragmatically, use your intercostal muscles, use your breath in the back, and not just chest breathe. So I thought we'd go over this, it'd be really helpful, and then maybe you can teach your partners and your kids as well. So drop your shoulders. Imagine you have those weights at the base of the shoulder blades, so we don't have any shoulders up by ears like so. Draw the chin slightly in, so we lift up through the ridge of the head at the back. Imagine you have that string there, creating that sort of kitten neck. Imagine you've been picked up by the scruff of the neck by a mother cat. And then, it doesn't really matter how you stand, but just be soft through the knees and make sure your pelvis isn't pushing forward, because it's very hard to have your head well aligned if your pelvis is forward here. And then start to move into that ocean breath, slight constriction at the back of the throat, very loose jaw, but very softly closed lips. And we're pulling that breath down to the bottom third, so down to your belly, and then out to the second third, which is where the ribs are, and into the back of the lungs. And then last of all, the breath comes up around the clavicles here. So it's a kind of a pouring down, out, and then up. And then as you breathe out, feel the base of the rib cage coming slightly in. So all of the breath, the whole lot, can pour out of you, leaving space for another full breath. And really see if you can press your ribs against the constriction of your belt or your scarf. And if you imagine you are a fish and you're breathing into your gills, that can sometimes help to bring the breath away from the chest, the upper chest, and bring it into this area here around the diaphragm. And then focus on pressing the breath into the belt at the back. Slowing the breath down. Long. Smooth. See if you can extend the breath now. So we really are looking for a good 5, maybe 6 beats in, and then try to make that exhalation that tiny bit longer. So slow it, stretch it, relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. It's going to help you. And releasing. Just another one of those. Great, and then just take your belt away. So I want you to see if you can continue to feel as if the breath is pressing against a belt. So we keep that proprioception. In fact, actually, we'll do the getting tall against the wall now to create that proprioception of being in that beautiful alignment. So, Judith, I know you don't have a wall close by, but if you can try and remember the feeling of the wall against your back, and I'll just take you through the cues. So whether you've got a wall here or if you're just standing, make sure that your feet are hip-width apart. You lift your toes and you spread your feet. So you've got this wonderful wide foundation. Soften the knees slightly and then press down and out so that the arches of the feet lift ever so slightly. We get this energetic lift, and we can always feel it through the inner thigh muscles coming up here. And we can feel this rolling out sensation through the abductor, the outer thigh muscles, the external rotators. And then if you have got a wall behind you, push your bottom into it. And I always like to imagine there's someone on the other side of the wall, and you have got a tail, there's a hole in the wall, and they are pulling your tail through the wall. So if you're standing freestyle, just allow your pelvis to draw back. So your behind is behind you, we're not pushing forward. So you guys will remember that instruction And now we want to lengthen out of the waist. So the rib cage comes away from the waist, but we don't lift the ribs and flare them. Instead, we drop the base of the rib cage down. Now to do that, press your shoulders into the wall. Exhale, push your hands forward, like so. So we get a deep activation here, down here through those deep transverse abdominal muscles. And then turn the palms, take your hands down. The palms are facing forward. Roll one shoulder and then the other shoulder and pull the base of the shoulder blades down and pull your fingertips down towards your feet. Now press your forearms into the wall and then press the ridge at the back of the head into the wall. So if you're standing, you'll just imagine the wall is there, pressing the forearms back, pressing between the shoulders back, press back and up with your head. And if we're here, now see if you can breathe into that area where your belt was. So we want to create that breath, spreading the breath into the area between the shoulders and down. So the whole back from the rib cage upwards feels as if it's trying to squeeze into the wall. Now your pelvis is wanting to push forward, don't let it. Push your bum back, press between the shoulders back, press back and up with the ridge of your head, press down and out with your feet. So we get this external rotation, press back with your bum, back between the shoulders, back with your arms, back and up with the head to stretch the cervical spine, down and out with your feet, back with your bum, soften the knees, back with your arms, back between the shoulders, back and up with the ridge of your head. Wonderful. And then just come away from the wall and roll the head, roll the shoulders, and then we'll come onto our mats. I'm going to have my mat sideways for most of this practice. So come into your goddess stance. Let your shoulders be nice and loose. Drop the head and roll the head around. While you're rolling the head around, check in with your feet. Make sure that your feet are wide. Your toes are stretched out. You've got the lovely solid foundation. Very good. And then take your head in the other direction. Slow, unwinding circles. Now let your shoulders start to unwind as well. Let them become very fluid, dancer-like. Figure of 8 with your shoulders. So hypertension starts in the shoulders. Let's unwind it, release it. Very good. And then coming back into the center, moving back into that ujjayi breath, that ocean-like breath. And as if your arms are part of the ocean, just let your elbows sort of roll to one side and then the other, and let your knees bend and stretch, so you take your weight from one foot to the other. This is that cloudy hands Tai Chi movement. So I want you to make it slow, and then start to stretch out through your fingers as well. Just look at your fingers. Feel the breath long and smooth. Start to create a little bit more movement through your legs as well. And then take the movement so it's a bit bigger. The circles are a bit bigger. A bit of a figure of 8. And we start to create that flow through the shoulders as well. Smooth, long, ocean-like breath. And then turning that into the twist, but I want you to start slowly. So it's like we're winding ourselves up. Wind up cow. We're slowly starting to move into that more full expression of the twist, pushing our hands through imaginary water. And now we can really feel that traction, that squeezing around the spine. And the breath has been pulled into the lungs and then pressed out of the lungs. Wonderful, just to fling the arms around. And then we will turn it into that discus throwing movement. So keep the torso tall, and then inhale, throw your discus, exhale, go ha. And as you exhale, I want you to loosen your lower jaw, ha. And let the lower jaw feel as if it's being unwound more and more every time you exhale. And we're just chopping, and chopping, and chopping. Good, just getting energy moving, emotion moving. Emotion is energy in motion, and we don't move. We feel fiercely, but we don't move it through the body. That's when it gets stuck, and it becomes ease. We have lack of ease in the body. Good, and then just come back. I want to get you to take a little pat onto the upper back. This is actually where we have these incredible endorphin receptors. So this is evolution's way of promoting contact, we think, through hugging, because why else would there be these endorphin receptors at the top of our backs? So just patting the top of your back, thoracic movement, roll the shoulders, drop down into your goddess stance. We'll warm up the thighs a little bit by coming up and down. Take your hands down, breathe in, big breath in, and exhale. Press the floor away with your heels. Keep going with this. Big breath in, side out. Side, side. Staying down, lateral stretch, up and over. Stretching the side body. Imagine that you are pulling those ribs apart, fanning them, up and over to the other side. Draw the elbow back, press down firmly through the heel. Good, and then come up all the way to the toes to stretch the whole side line of the body. And then same thing on the other side, breathing in and breathing out, breathing in and breathing out. Stretch the whole body, toes to fingertips. Really nice. Very good. Come back down, hands like this, toes a little bit closer in to drop our shoulders. One shoulder drops. Inhale, other shoulder drops. Inhale, reaching down towards the ground with the shoulder, twisting right across the spine. Come into the center, lift the heart, lift the tail. Exhale, tuck the tail, let all the breath pour out of you. Inhale and exhale. Now don't let those naughty shoulders do this. Pull the shoulders down and let the pelvis do all the work. So this kind of movement gets right deep into the inner part of the pelvic bowl. So we're working on stabilizing muscles around levator ani. This is the muscle band, several muscles there that hold our organs into place. So this is a really wonderful thing to be doing to get the breath, diaphragm, working with the pelvic floor, pelvic diaphragm. Wonderful. And then circling, big circles, like so. Just keep going with this. I'm going to turn my heaters off because they're hot, and I'm hot. Wonderful. And then the other direction, big circles, like so. So this gets into the psoas muscles, fabulous for relieving lower back pain. This also starts to open up deep, deep here into the hip area, hip flexors, muscles that run right down into the pelvic floor. Wonderful. And then come up, and I'm going to get you to do like an Elvis twist. So we're internally rotating and then externally rotating. Internally, and you're just mobilizing through the ball and socket joint. So you can imagine here, rolling in, rolling out, rolling in, rolling out. So if you start to get sciatic nervy pain down the side of your leg, this is what you want to be doing. You want to start to adduct, go inwards with your legs. So coming up onto the toes and exhaling and like so. And let's do that on the other side. Toes, do your Elvis, little shimmy. You can make this as groovy as you want to. Wonderful. So just easy stuff, but it is fabulous for keeping the tiny little muscles that do lots and lots of work, keeping them healthy. And then leave that in. Good. Now, you'll need a bit of wall space or a chair to lean into. I'm going to get you first of all to open up your calf muscles. So take your left foot behind you, right foot in front. Bend both knees, and start with the Achilles. So as you see how both my knees are bent and my bottom is kind of dropping down towards my heel. So it's a bit different from calf muscle stretch, which is here with the back leg straight. So both knees are bent. I'm kind of dropping my sitting bones down towards the heel, but you can see my back heel's actually off the mat. So this gets into the Achilles right there. And then we inch the toes back and we press into the wall If you've got a chair there, you can just go, or the sofa, just push the sofa away and drop the heel down. And we now want the stretch right into the belly of the calf there. Deep stretch. Now inch your right toes forward and roll back up onto the balls of your feet. You might need to inch your left foot back a tiny bit more. And as you push the heel of your left foot into the middle of the room, let your right knee draw forward. So now we're getting into that deep hip flexor stretch into the quads here. And lift your heart center, so don't be leaning into the wall. Lift the heart. That's it. Imagine you've still got that hook from the crown of your head lifting you up. And if this is comfortable, you might lift up through your left hand as well. So we're stretching the whole front line of the body. What a deep stretch into those hip flexors. This is the opposite of sitting. So Alison, you're asking for stretches you could do in the middle of the day when you've been sitting at your desk for a long time. Get up and do some of these, because this will get the pelvis mobilizing again. It will relieve lower back pain that might be accumulating. Wonderful. So step yourself back. Come into a tabletop position. So this is another one. Just strengthening and lengthening the back. We can lengthen the legs as much as we want to, but I'd rather your knees were bent and your back was straight than your legs were straight and your back was rounded. Can you see that compared to this? So we want to draw serratus anterior, these muscles just underneath the shoulder girdle downwards. Draw the base of the ribcage in, so we're working all the corsatory muscles here. And then as you press the heels into the ground, you lift the sitting bones. So now we're getting a proper stretch through the hamstrings as well. Shoulders running away from the ears. Come back to the breath. Fantastic. Great, so let's take the other foot forward. So coming up onto the, both knees are bent to start off with, so we're dropping the weight down towards the heel. So this is getting into that Achilles stretch. The other side. And then press the heel down for a full calf stretch. So the belly of the calf muscle. That's the way. And then come up onto those back toes, press the knee forward and lift up through the arms so we get the stretch through the front line of the body here. Wonderful deep stretch. As you press the heel away, your front knee goes forward. So this is the same when we are in any standing pose. We always have the back leg pressure through the back foot, which is propelling us into the pose. We'll do that in the warrior poses in a moment. Wonderful. Cut back into your tabletop one more time. And take your feet wide actually this time. Take your feet wide and then just drop the knees across the midline of the body. So a bit like downward facing dog. And we pause on one side, stretch right up into the glute, into the hamstrings here. And then pause on the other side, drop the hip down. Fabulous. Great, and then just roll yourself up. I'm just going to get you to open up into your shoulders as well. So if you've got a bit of wall, fabulous. Otherwise, just hold on to some, even if there's a little bit of wall with your fingers. So if you've got a flattish bit of wall, forearm on it, and turn your chest around, base of the ribcage comes in. We're just opening up here into those pectoral muscles. So just an upper body twist. Smooth breath. Do that on the other side. And then just turn yourself around. So just trying to show you here, stretching across the chest. So once again, opening up into the front of the body will allow us to strengthen into the upper body, the upper back. Stretching right here. This is the lung 1 meridian. And we're stretching right into that heart meridian here. Fabulous. So come onto your mats again. You can have yours forward or sideways. We're just going to come through a couple of the standing poses. Have your feet about 1 meter apart or so, and then turning out through your left foot and turn your back toes in at about a 45-degree angle. So legs stay straight for this one. Arms out to the side, shoulders are relaxed. Pull out through those middle fingers. Turn your head to look up through your front hand. Now, as you polish the table and come forward, pull your back hip back and then roll the hip forward as if you have a train wheel here. Rolling it forward, stretch, stretch, stretch. Drop the hand wherever it lands. It might be up here, it's absolutely fine. Turn the shoulder so one stacks on top of the other. Your right shoulder's up, bottom shoulder is right down. And there's not much weight through this bottom arm. And then stretching fingertips up towards the ceiling. Look down at the ground and then look up. Keep breathing, down and then up. You'll feel a very strong stretch here through the adductors, the inner thigh muscles. Keep breathing here. Wonderful. Just leave your head wherever it feels nice. So it might be straight ahead, it might be looking up, or actually just hanging might be nicest on your neck. So wherever it feels good, take this top arm and do some big circles. So just visualizing that ball and socket joint in the shoulder and noticing if there's any catching going on in the shoulder at this point. Breathing up and then take the hand down, stretch out through the neck. So we pull out through the fingers, pull out through the neck here. Breathe in. Silent breath out. Look down at the ground. Bend into that front knee and just inch your feet a little bit further apart. Come into side angle. So forearm on thigh, back leg is straight, front knee is bent, knee directly on top of ankle as we always have. Now turn the chest again. And do a little bit of a deeper stretch right up into these adductors that feed into the pelvic floor. All the way up and over with the hand. If you know this position, you're comfortable here, you might drop the hand down and give yourself a bit more of a heart opening stretch here. Fantastic. Great. And then dropping down into a runner's lunge here. So back knee on the ground, front knee is bent. Beautiful. Take the hand on top of the knee. Inhale, one more of these lifting heart-centered lunges. And then see if you can hook the elbow onto the outside of your knee and take your hands together. If that's not comfortable, hand on the outside of the knee and other hand on the sacrum. So if you're here, press your hands towards your heart center. You might want to take the back foot on the ground actually, like so. And then unwind from there and do the opposite. So your left hand on the inside of your knee and stretching the other arm up towards the center, so up towards the ceiling. Now the stretch is right underneath here into the glutes and into the groin. Smooth breath. Wonderful. Coming back. Let's take our pelvises back, bring our toes towards you. If you've got a wall close by or a sofa close by, you can always hold on to that to come up a bit higher. We're looking to try and have the back body straight. So try not at this stage to round and have your knee up like that. I'd rather you were holding on to something and you were here, but your sitting bones were lifting. That's going to help us mobilize those hamstrings so much more. And then bring your little toes back in particular so that your toes aren't curling around. Smooth breath, smooth breath. Keep feeling as if your tail is being drawn back and up. And then come into the center, turn both toes forward and straighten the legs as much as you can. If they're bent, that's absolutely fine. We're trying to create a straight, flat back. So walk your fingertips forward. Imagine your tail is being pulled back and up, that your fingers are being pulled forward, and allow yourself to come into this full kind of draping, almost like you're on the rack. You're being stretched. Roll the shoulders away from your ears. So you might need to have quite wide fingers in order to create this length through the spine without feeling congestion around your shoulders. Smooth, long breath, stretching the hamstrings, the inner thigh muscles, and the spine. Whole body stretch. Then walk the fingertips back underneath your chest. If you have a pillow close by, maybe put your hands on a pillow, or bend the knees as much as you need to. I'll go sideways so you can see my knees bent. Bend the knees as much as you need to in order to be able to have your hands on the ground. If you've got no height, you can take underneath your hands. Now, push one hand into the ground, lift the other arm up towards the ceiling. If that's not great on your shoulders, hand on hip, elbow up. See if you can look up as well. If that's not good on your neck, just keep looking down. We're getting a thoracic squeeze. Upper back squeeze. Breathe in, pull through the middle fingers. Exhale, drop that hand down. Do the same thing on the other side. So we're lifting all the way up towards the ceiling. If you're here, it feels nice, roll the wrist. Good. Adjusting, obviously, to where you are at tonight. And it changes daily almost. So just be very, very mindful of ahimsa. That's non-violence to yourself. Be kind to your body. We want to feel good tomorrow, not have pulled anything. And then slowly coming down. Heel toe your feet a little bit closer. Drop your bottom down towards the ground, but keep lifting your tail up. If you can, hook elbows onto the inside of your knees and take your hands together. If that's too low, just take the hands onto the inside of the knees like so. So we're looking to lift the heart and create that long straight back as if we've just come off the wall. Draw the base of the ribcage slightly in, but keep the sitting bones lifted, keep the heart lifted. Now, I want you to push your knees against your elbows or the back of your hands. Push them, push them, push them, so we're squeezing in the thighs, and then press outwards with your elbows or with your hands. So we stretch the inner thighs, and then we're going to rock it up. So we're going to push the floor away with our heels. Breathe in, breathe out, and go. And then toes in, arms out again. Drop the base of the rib cage, turning out through those right feet. Trikonasana, triangle pose on the side, lengthening out through the table. Draw your back hip forward. Drop the hand wherever it lands. Stretch the fingers up towards the ceiling. Feel that movement in your back. So we're trying to get a sort of a ringing feeling through the back of the body. Big stretch, and then full rotation through the shoulders, mobilizing the ball and socket joint. Just feel that lubrication happening here. That's what we want to do. We want to keep creating space in the joints. And then up and back the fingers. Drop the head, stretch into the neck. These scalenes that just hold so much tension on a lot of the time. Pulling out through those fingertips. Breathe in. Sigh out. Good. Looking down at the ground, bend into that front knee, slide your back foot slightly back, come into side angle, Padmasana. Here we go. Little toe head pressing into the ground, lengthen out through the fingertips, drop the shoulder away from the ear, and then try to open the chest until you feel a deep stretch here. Now, if you're very bendy, you might go down. I don't want you to do that. Pull your femur back into the pelvis so this feels stable here. And then possibly coming into a deeper version of this pose if that feels nice. If not, staying here. Really good. And then taking this top arm, dropping it down, coming into that lunge on this side and allowing yourself to come forward, lift the heart, drop the back foot, pelvis comes forward until we feel the quad stretch, the hip flexor stretch, and maybe taking arm up towards the ceiling as well. Shoulder dropping away from the ear. Breathing in. As you breathe in, press into that back foot. And then as you exhale, see if you can hook the elbow or the hand, come into your closed twist, like so. Very good. Oh, it feels so nice on my upper back. Good. And then we'll come out of that and come into more of an open twist. So hand pressing, so elbow pressing the knee back, fingertips lifting. Feel the shoulder blades squeezing together as if you have this orange between your shoulders and you're squeezing it. Lovely. And then hamstrings. So walk your pelvis back, bring your toes with you. See if you can feel that tail being lifted, pulling the toes back. Keep your toes a little swirled. Pull them back and then squeeze them. Pull them back and squeeze them. Fantastic. Come back into your tripod shape. So pressing out through the little toe edge. Stretch your fingertips forward again. Make your hands wide. And then pull your tail back. Keep pressing down through the outer edges of your feet. So there's a kind of a lifting sensation through the inner arches of those feet. Smooth breath. Forward fold. Heel toe, a little bit closer. You can bend the knees as much as you want and let yourself fold all the way down now. So head is heavy, forearms are dropping down, and you just feel a sort of a weighted sensation through the upper back. Maybe just swish from side to side. So we let the head, the 10 to about 10 pounds of weight in the head, we let that traction the neck as we let it just swing from side to side. And then heel toe a little bit closer, drop back into your malasana, your deep squat. Keep lifting through the sitting bones so that all the pressure of our organs is down through the pubic bone and the lower belly, not through the pelvic floor, which is actually a bit of a wall behind us now. Right, we're going to press the floor away with our heels, that activates the glutes, and we're going to come up on an exhale like this, breathing in and then going, and then hands down. Fantastic. So we'll come through a couple of balances now, switching on our gluteal muscles. The glutes are so important for stabilizing the sacrum, for stabilizing the whole of the pelvis, and for making sure that the pelvic floor muscles are not being used inappropriately. So quite often when people have no butt muscles, their pelvic floor muscles and the deep muscles end up working too hard, and that can end up being leading to tension patterns and pain, and also sometimes prolapse. So really, really important for us ladies and men to make sure these bum muscles are doing their job, and our thigh muscles, but bum muscles in particular. So we're standing on the right leg, we're squeezing thigh muscles in, we've got the left foot behind us, we're going to just switch on gluteus medius and minimus up the top. So arms out to the side, pull out through those fingers and do some little taps here. So we're just coming up and down on the toes. Now don't put your hip out like so. Keep feeling as if the crown of the head is being lifted towards the ceiling. All of the corsatory muscles are switched on. The rib cage is coming slightly away from pelvis. Base of the rib cage is dropping. You can feel the extensor muscles of the back working. And we're just doing little taps, and we can feel the top of the butt here picking up. So see if we can get that sensation. And then do that on the other side. Toes out behind you, lifting out of the waist, arms out to the side. Little taps here. You can take the arms above you. Mine's chopped off. So just doing something with your arms to help you balance. Little taps. Great. And give your hips a roll again. Release. We're going to do the crocodile snap. So this is using gravity. So we're working with gravity here to really lift up the pelvic floor muscles, draw in and up with the corsatory. Amazing. Absolutely amazing, this one, for creating proper core strength. So take that foot out behind you, open up your crocodile arms, keep the base of the rib cage dropping. We want to feel on an exhalation like our tummy button's coming in and then lifting up to that. And our pelvic floor is drawing in and up as if a tissue's been picked up off the ground. So squeeze thigh muscles into thigh bone, open up your feet, press them down, and then as you exhale, knee comes up, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, tummy button, in and up, inhale fully, stretch, good, wonderful, release. Let's do this next to you slowly, slow, 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 snap. Slow, snap. Last one, slow, snap. Take the arms out to the side, slowly. Kick your foot towards me, slowly. Crown of the head is lifting. And down. Good, give your legs a little shake. Let's do that on the other side. So taking the other foot behind you, strengthen into your standing leg, crown of the head is being lifted, so already your posture is all switched on, arms out, exhaling to snap, inhaling to open, stretch the tummy button, sorry, stretch the tummy muscles, but exhale, draw tummy button in and up. Inhale to open, exhale to squeeze. Remembering the more constriction we put on the back of the throat by making sound when we exhale, the more the diaphragm works, the more vacuuming we get through the pelvic floor muscles as well. Let's do this last one, really slow. One more for good measure, really slow. And then float the arms out to the side, stick your foot towards me, shoulders relaxed, crown of the head is lifted, and then slowly come down. And just give your legs a little bit of an Elvis twist again, both sides, release. Very good. Okay, so we're going to come through high lunge and then warrior 3. So come into a high lunge. You put your right foot forward, my left foot's forward. So the other foot's back like so. Base of the ribcage coming in, lifting ribcage away from pelvis, crown of the head is lifting. So we're going to start like an eagle, arms out to the side. And then as you exhale, press the heel into the ground, draw tummy button in and up, and we're going to come up like this. So we inhale, we come down, we exhale, we come up. As you exhale up, pelvic floor is drawing in and up. As we inhale, release. Exhaling in and up. Imagine that picking up, that hugging in and picking up lift is going right up through the crown of your head and then down again. It's almost like an umbrella that is opening and then closing and lifting. Good. And staying down. Now come forward, so you slide forward, all your weight is over your standing leg, and then just see if you can pick up your back foot, press out through the heel, draw the base of the ribcage in, and imagine you're flying. Arms are stretching out. Good. And then take yourself into a little ball. Let yourself just fold forward, press the floor away, and just very, very slowly roll yourself up. So you're stacking the vertebra one on top of the other. And come over onto the other side. So same thing, but on the other side. So now you've got your right foot back. And we're lunging, creating that lovely 90-degree angle. So to come forward a little bit. Okay, so inhaling here, exhaling up. Inhaling, exhaling up. See if you can come down a tiny bit deeper. That's really going to work your glutes. And as we're breathing out as we come up, we are dynamically mobilizing pelvic floor, working with the diaphragm. So this is working apparently about 50 to 60% harder through those pelvic floor muscles than, and into the levator ani muscles, than if we were doing static Kegels, just sitting or lying on our backs. And then last one, stay down, take all your weight forward, pause here, make these thigh muscles work, and then launch yourself up into your warrior 3 balance, stretch out through your fingertips, squeeze your glutes, and then bend yourself into a little ball like so, like a seed. Let everything be floppy. Press the floor away slowly, slowly, slowly. Roll up so you feel the stacking of the vertebra. Wonderful. Last balance. So give yourself a little shake. This is the easy one. This is a nice one. Tree pose. So come to your Tadasana, your mountain pose, pressing down and out with your feet, lengthening out of the side waist. Take the hands together. As you press your hands together, start to feel your shoulders drawing together. Like to imagine there's that orange. You just gently squeezing the orange. Fantastic. Right, so take all your weight into your right leg, squeeze your thigh muscles so everything's working jolly hard, just standing here, and then taking the other toes in, heel up, knee out to the side. Relax here. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. And then just slide the foot maybe underneath the knee, not on the knee, or maybe taking the heel and pressing the whole foot into your groin. If you're doing this version, you just want to push your foot and your thigh hard as you can, and push your hands hard together too. Get the shoulders drawing back. Create that root-like sensation with the feet. Pushing down into the ground, and then imagine lighted energy is pulling up through your roots, all the way up through your tree trunk, leg, torso, shoulders, out to your fingers. Stretch your arms out like branches. Stretch your fingertips out and up. Maybe take your eye gaze up towards the ceiling. Feel as if you are a conduit of energy pulling up from the earth, pouring through your body, pouring up and out through your head, through your fingers, through your heart center. Very nice. Slowly take hands down. Bring your knee into your chest. Slightly bend your standing leg. Pause here, switching on corset tree, and then place that knee down and just give your standing leg a little shake. So we're strengthening it. We're really working on strengthening our bones as well. In these balances, we work, we're using our body weight to really work into the bones. So taking the same thing on the other side, squeezing that left leg, take your toes wherever you want to for tree pose on this side. Smooth breath, ocean-like breath. Draw that squeezy sensation between your shoulders. And then when you're ready, create that lifting sensation as if you're pulling energy up through your roots and you feel this upward lift, this energetic lift. And you imagine this pouring up and out, don't look at me because I'm wobbling, up and out through fingers, crown of the head, smile. This incredible weather we have had in the last days, the abundance that we have in this part of the country. We are so blessed with the nature we have around us, the fact that we can get out amongst the trees still. Wonderful. Now, as you exhale, draw your knee in, keep lifting through the crown of the head, stretch up, and then release down. And give your legs a little stretch here. Fantastic. Coming down through Malasana again, so dropping down through your squat. Press out, stretch those inner thigh muscles that we've just been squeezing. Crown of the head is lifted. Very, very nice. Great. And then just dropping down and just get your hips released. Hands down underneath the shoulders. Drop the hips one side and then the other. One side and then the other. And then try to go right down to the glutes. So take your hips back towards the heels and out to the side. So my hip is heading towards kind of 4 or 5 o'clock and fingers stretching out to about 11 o'clock here. So stretch right across the spine into the glutes. Wonderful. And then horseshoe your bottom to the other side and stretching right across the back on the other side here. Really good. Very nice. Now we're going to mobilize the whole pelvis. So keep your knees together and start to circle the hips. So we're creating that pebble in the still lake kind of ripple out and then out even further. Shoulders are relaxed, elbows are relaxed. Starting to open up through the front of the pelvis as well. One direction and then the other. Wonderful. Very good. Big circles. Big circles. And then just give your wrists a little shake. We'll come through a couple of cat and cows before we strengthen the core one more time. So tail is lifted and then tail tucks. Tail is lifted and then tail tucks. Now see if you can close your eyes and visualize your tail is the beginning of a rope. And as you lift it, you get this kind of flow, this ribbon-like flow through your spine. And then as you tuck your tail right under, similarly, there's this kind of a snake-like flow of the spine that follows. So everything starts with the pelvis. And then really get your breath moving with the movement. Orchestrating the movement with the breath. Really nice. Next time you take your tail up, have your hands a bit wide. You might need to shake your wrists. One's a bit wider. Leave your tail there. Tuck your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feel as if your tail is being pulled back and up. The knees bent. Stretch your spine as much as you humanly can. Roll your shoulders away from your ears. And once you've lifted, a bit like when we're in this tripod shape, but once we've lifted and stretched the spine, then press the heels down. And then feel into those calf muscles again. Very good. We want to create as much space around our neck as we can. So the hands need to be quite wide. You press down and out with your hands and create this draping sensation under the shoulders here, as if this is being pulled down towards the ground. Good. Keep lifting here. Very nice. Drop down onto your knees. Knees are wide, toes together. Stretch the fingertips out in front of you. Wrists are off the ground. And allow the lower back to drape down, so creating stretchy space along the spine. A stretch on the underside of the arms. Good. Keep breathing here. Smooth, smooth breath. Lovely. And coming up onto all fours. So keep your pelvis back. Knees can stay quite wide. So we're going to come forward on an exhalation, remembering that as we exhale and we move forward, we want to vacuum the pelvic floor in and up, through the vagina, through the cervix, up towards the tummy button, so that we get an activation through all these corticatory muscles after the pelvic floor. So we want to try to create that constant formatting, pelvic floor, then up, 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 as opposed to squeeze here and then pressure being pushed down or up into the thoracic cavity. So this is the vacuuming we want forward. This is what you need to do if you're coming into a plank. You need to do this action forward on an exhale forward, just to protect the pelvic floor and not to get too much pressure down through there. So hands out in front of you, drop the pelvis, breathe in, visualize the diamond shape of the pelvic floor. You're breathing into the pelvic floor. As we exhale, bring your shoulders just over your fingertips. Feel this all vacuumed in. So this is tight, tight, tight around here, lifting, and then drop back. Visualize the four corners of the pelvic floor being stretched apart. And then as you exhale, they're being drawn all in and zipping right up through the cervix towards the tummy button, and then back again. Now, if you know this, by all means, add in that little tricep dip, exhaling as you come up. Inhaling. If you're still working on just coordinating core, so pelvic floor and then core, I want you to stay with this. Torso stays straight. Otherwise, exhaling forward, inhaling to dip, exhale up, inhale back. Good. One more. Really nice. Okay. So dropping back again, stretch those arms out again, lengthen out through the fingertips, shoulders roll away from the ears. Very good. Let's just stretch into each side of the rib cage here. So walk the fingers up and over to one side, and then up and over to the other side. Very good. And then come back into the center. Roll yourself down onto your belly, like so. So you're like a snake coming onto your belly. A little bit of action into the back of the body. Hands underneath the shoulders, tops of the feet into the ground, pressing the tops of the feet into the ground. Inhale to inflate the lungs. Exhale, deflate the lungs. Hands are just very lightly supporting us. Inhaling and exhaling. So as we do the breath activation, we get this sort of a squeezy sensation around the spine, and that is what's lifting us up. Good. And down. Roll the shoulders back, pull fingers towards toes, and then as you inhale, lifting everything up and exhaling down. So shoulders relaxed, glutes relaxed, every part of the body relaxed. And then with activation again, roll the shoulders back, inhale, activate, pull toes, pull fingers, squeeze the back line of the body, and then exhale. Turn the head to the other side and let everything become as relaxed as possible. Maybe rock the pelvis. Good. So to unwind the body now. So stretching back slowly, slowly, slowly. Come up. And then coming all the way down. I'm going to get you to take the arms out wide. So Sphinx pose, but wider arms. Inhale to draw your chest up, and then drop one shoulder, look over the other shoulder down towards your toes. Inhale, exhale, other way. So we're looking for a deep stretch into the chest, right up into the neck, and release. And release. Good. Keep going with that. Now I'm going to get you to stretch out through one arm. So I'm going to show you front on here. Stretch out through one arm, other arm's here, and we just lift the chest. So now the stretch goes down through the inside of the arm. A little bit of a lift. Stretch those pectoral muscles. The fingertips reaching out, pressure through this arm. And then down, and do the same thing on the other side. So stretching out the arm and then lifting up. Your hip will come off slightly too. So if I go sideways, you can see that my hip comes off a little bit. Arm is stretching out. Very good. Okay, so stretch the quads. So take the hand underneath the forehead, roll the shoulder back, grab hold of your ankle. If you can't reach your ankle, do use your strap or your scarf or whatever you've got. Now press the pubic bone down into the ground, stretching out the quads, breathing in, breathing out. Long exhale. Stretch those quads. When we do that long exhalation, we tell the brain that we are relaxed. And so the brain goes, oh, okay, muscles, it's okay to relax because I'm being told, we're safe because this person, you're breathing full breath. So do the same thing on the other side. Grab hold of the ankle. Chin is tucked in, and then exhaling. Or you can do the buzzy deep breath, the Brahmahari breath. Your partner's going to wonder what on earth is going on. Fantastic. I'm going to get you just to roll over onto your back. Now, this is where you're going to need your belt and also your bolster or pillow. So grab something you will be able to put underneath your bottom. So I'm going to get you just to have that close by for a moment. Just make sure that everything has been activated. So let's take the feet up so knees are parallel with the ground. Pull your toes back. Make sure you're not arching through the back here. So drop the base of the rib cage down. We don't actually imprint the lower back completely into the ground because that'll pull our tail up. So we have a tiny gap, a very small gap underneath the lower back. So toes are back, knees directly on top of hip bones. The knees are not close together, they're hip width apart. First of all, take the hands on the outside of the knees. Shoulders are away from the ears. Press out with the knees, in with the hands. Slight drawing in and up through the pelvic floor. So we're really working quite deep on the stabilizing muscles around the sort of second layer of pelvic floor muscles here. And then take the hands into fists. Fingers are facing each other. Backs of the hands on the inside of the knees. Shoulders away from ears. Press in. Good. Keep pressing knees in on hands and resist with your hands. Base of the ribcage dropping down towards spine. A slight lifting sensation through the pelvic floor muscles. And then relax everything. So the four corners of the pelvic floor relax. Now take the hands here. So flat on top of the knees onto your thighs. As you exhale, start to pull your knees into your hands, but resist. Good. So I want you to not just be pushing out. I want you to feel everything drawing up as we increase the pressure. And then release that. Take the knees into the chest, rock from side to side, and then take your knees apart and do some big circles. So once again, we are creating that real swishy sound, close to swishy sensation with the femurs into the thighs there. Lovely. And then take the toes together, knees out like frogs, hands just onto your shins. Press the thighs away with the forearms, stretching the inside of your thighs right into the groin here. And let your belly be soft. So now I'm going to move into that 360 breathing. So the inhale and the exhale are going down into the lower belly, into the pelvic floor, into the hips, into the lower back. Great. So grab your scarf or your strap, whatever you've got, and place it around your toes. Press the feet away from you. So we create a hamstring stretch on both sides. Press the bottom down into the ground. So if we were standing, I'm going to stand, don't you stand. If we were standing, rather than being here, we would be here. So we're doing exactly what we did at the beginning of the practice, but we're on the ground. We've got a bit of extra leverage with our scarf or strap. Okay, so heels away, pushing the ceiling away. Really nice. Get that full lengthening stretch through the back of the hamstrings. Press down through the pelvis. Shoulders are relaxed. 360 breathing, as if you have a beach ball down from your belly button downwards. And you're trying to blow up the beach ball. And then start to pull your feet along your strap or your scarf, whatever you've got, towel. And keep pushing out through the heels, pull your toes towards you, shoulders are relaxed. See if you can go right to your edge here. Wonderful. And if your knees are bent, that's absolutely fine. So you just give little pushes through your heels and then you soften and little pushes through your heels. And over time you will find that the hamstrings start to loosen, the adductor muscles, inner thigh muscles start to loosen. But it is so important. I can't tell you how important it is to keep these muscles lengthened. We can't get away with having tight hamstrings, tight adductor muscles, and still want our pelvic floor muscles to function well. And from about 35 years on, we start to lose 2% of the muscle fibers around the urethra every year. So we need the stabilizing muscles around the urethra structure to be working well. And all of these exercises that we've been doing tonight will ensure that they do. And now drop the knees down towards your armpits. Bend your knees, so we're bending everything downwards. Feet wide still, baby pose. And just using your strap, whatever you've got, to keep pulling your toes down. Nice big opening through the groin. Nice relaxed arms. Very good. Lovely. So taking the strap off to the side, feet down on the ground, drop the knees to one side. So feet are wide here, wider than your mat even. Drop the knees to one side so we're getting into that big long muscle, the sartorius muscle that comes right from the hip here, down into the inside of the knee. And then up and over to the other side. A little bit of a back twist as well. This is a great one. I really like this twist. And then again on both sides. One. Then take your bolster or your pillow. You might want to grab a squab from the couch. Just place something underneath your pelvis so that the pelvis is lifted. And ideally, or you could use bricks if you've got bricks, or even a stack of books and place a towel over your books. If you've got nothing apart from a blanket, just roll your blanket up so it's as big as it possibly can be and slide that under your pelvis. So a passive stretch through the lower back and just allowing those psoas muscles to release very passively. We're just going to spend 5 breaths here. One hand on your lower belly, one hand on the heart center. Keep your cervical spine long to create that kitten-like neck through the cervical spine here. And let your elbows be down on the ground. Just feel that lovely breath coming in and out of the body. Feel the breath feeding into the pelvic bowl. So you're consciously now relaxing everything. Remember, I always talk about muscles can't fully contract unless they are released first. So similarly, we need a lot of contracting. Now we need for those muscles to soften. And this is actually one of the unique ways of allowing the psoas muscles, those very, very important hip flexor muscles that feed into the lower back, that go through our pelvic floor, just allowing them to let go. And when we are in stressed states, when we are feeling anxious, that anxiety always goes straight into the psoas. So that's why so many people end up with lower back issues or putting their back out when they're working too hard and when they're stressed. It's because the psoas muscles are going, they're holding tension, they're pulling onto the lower back. So here we allow. And as you breathe in, saying to yourself, I am, and then as you exhale, enough. I am enough. And again, I am enough. Then I am strong. And I am nurtured. I am seen. I am loved. And just feel into that word loved. Heart to pelvis and back again. I am loved. Wonderful. Press your feet into the ground. Slide your prop out from underneath you. I'm going to get you to rock and roll up and down your spine. So if it doesn't feel good, just roll over to one side. But if this feels all right, massage up and down your spine. Up and down. Up and down. And then come and sit comfortably. And you might need to grab a blanket and place it underneath your sitting bones just so that you don't slouch through your lower back. So we want to create that long spine. Come and sit comfortably. Go back to that sensation around the heart center. We have the heart meridian lines that run down through the inside of our arms here and into the heart. We're just going to do a pranayama practice, a breath practice to close. So you take your hands into your heart center. And I want you to think about people in your life who you would love to be able to see in person and hug. But because of our social distancing, you can't right now. So as you think about all of those people, you can let them crowd in as if they're all in the room with you. And they can just flicker across your mind's eye. As you inhale, open up, stretch up through those middle fingers, stretch right down through those heart meridians, and then exhale and fold your arms and press into endorphin receptors at the top of your own back here. And then inhale and imagine you're taking somebody in your arms and you're hugging them. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, the next person, maybe a parent, maybe a grandparent. And exhaling. Maybe a dear friend. Maybe a child. Cousins and aunts and uncles. Friends from school. University days, maybe. Anybody that comes to mind. Just imagine you are hugging them, squeezing them tight, and press your fingers into the upper back where we have those endorphin receptors. And then do this a little bit faster, breathing in. Last one. Very good. Slide your fingers to the top of your shoulders. Roll the shoulders back. And then squeeze your elbows together. Just tuck yourself into a little ball here. And then take the hands back behind you. Lift the heart center. And just like at the beginning of the practice, finishing by rolling the neck, rolling the shoulders. And the other direction, unwinding, unwinding, unwinding. Fantastic. So I'm going to get you just to either get a blanket and sit, or if you would like to put your legs over the edge of the couch, the blanket over you, or take your legs up the wall in Viparita Karani and maybe take a pillow underneath your bottom. Grab your socks and a cardi and just get yourself nice and warm, and we'll just unwind for 5 minutes. So yes, I'll give you a couple of minutes just to get all your bits and pieces and come into a rest pose. If you just want to lie on the ground, that's perfectly fine. Maybe taking a pillow underneath your knees to make sure you're really comfortable. Right, and then allowing yourself to take those 3 changing breaths. You signal to the brain it's time now to drop into your relaxation, where the body integrates your practice and all the muscles get to just soften away from the bones. Breathing in, sighing the breath out, and again. Ocean-like breath. Just becoming aware of the whole body, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Now let the focus be on the little muscles around your eyes and just feel them softening as your fingertips are tracing around the eye sockets. Feel the forehead start to soften. The crease between the brows soften. Start to feel your cheeks relax. Start to feel your lower jaw unwind even more from the upper jaw. And let now your neck elongate and soften. And a sense of relaxation that pour down through your shoulders and across the chest, through the upper back. So it feels as if your back is starting to melt, wax-like, into the ground. Feeling the arms becoming heavy. And as you feel that relaxation flowing down into your forearms and then hands. Hands are warm and heavy with sensation. Drawing your attention now as you feel relaxation flowing down through your belly and your lower back. And feeling the pelvis start to spread. Feeling the lower belly softening. The thighs dropping, rolling slightly out. As flesh softens away from bones, calf muscles becoming very relaxed, feeling that sense of heavy relaxation flowing down through heels, down through feet, massaging across the soles of your feet, and then into your toes. The toes feel heavy with relaxation. Whole body heavy, surrendering into even more deep, deep relaxation. And whatever tension or mental hurrying that you have, you'll recognize as a signal to pause, to breathe deeply, and to release your grip on worries. And as you hear these words, feeling the whole body, being aware of the position of your body, and like a twig drifting along the river, just let your mind drift along to the ocean of tranquility. Mind meanders, It might get snagged on worries, like an eddy in a babbling brook, but you know that soon the river flows on and frees you, and you can flow with it. Breathing happens for you from the moment you were born to the moment you die. It happens for you. Life breathes you, and you come along for the ride, and you can enjoy it. Here, in this present moment, you can choose to release the worries that tug you into the future or back into the past. You can feel your breathing reminding you that you are alive, here and now. Your senses bring you awareness of the miracle of being alive, here and now, this point in history, this moment in time. And with each breath, breathe in the peace, the positivity, the change in the world, and feel it connect with and nourish that peace, that deep inner wisdom, that pilot light inside of you. Allow yourself to breathe out fully. And as you breathe out, imagine the breath is just carrying away any residual tension, attachment, and suffering. And now consciously focus on the in-breath. Start to deepen the in-breath so that you can now feel the wish to move towards being active. You can start to breathe in more deeply, feeling alive and awake from the inside out. Breathing in deeply to invigorate the body and the mind. As you breathe deeply, feel as if energy, fresh prana, life force, is starting to filter down through arms and legs and into fingers and toes, right up into the brain, so that the whole body feels more expanded and light, as if you can feel vibration just underneath the skin surface. The chi, the prana. Now allow yourself to wriggle into fingers and toes, and very slowly moving the head from side to side, and slowly start to stretch. So just like at the beginning of the practice where we were fluidly moving, see if you can do the same thing, just stretching, stretching, mobilizing slowly, feeling refreshed from that dip into relaxation. And when you're ready, just rolling over to one side and then slowly, slowly coming up to a comfortable seated position. Pause when you arrive. Find that sweet spot where your head is perfectly balanced on top of your neck. The crown of the head feels as if it's being pulled up towards the ceiling. The spine is long. The shoulders are strong, but everything else is just draping off that scaffolding. Just notice how relaxed your jaw is, how soft your cheeks are, how marvelous the air feels against any exposed skin. Visualizing your skeleton, the bones are pressing into the ground. Feeling the breath Coming in and out of the body, just like you are an open window, and the breeze is just flowing in and out. And take your hands out to the side and stretch right out into your fingertips and turn the palms to face the ceiling. Feel as if light is pooling in your hands. You can almost feel it there. And then as you inhale, pull that light with stretched out fingers all the way up and around your energetic bodies. And then let it go. And then breathe in again, powerful. And last one, big breath in, hold it, and let it go. Fantastic. Then just take the hands into the heart center, pressing your thumbs right into that sternum area. Shoulders relaxed. And just taking a moment to tap back into that pilot light. And when we say namaste, even if I can't actually hear you, it means that the love and light in you, when you are in that place in you where the whole universe dwells, when I am in that place in me, we are one. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat tonight, ladies. Namaste.